This pandemic taught me and my family to appreciate the little things in life. It gave us a time to reflect, a chance to know what we should prioritize, and in a way, enabling us to bond more, make plans for the now, but at the same time, plans for the future. Welcome to the Secured and Happy Lifestyle Podcast, the show that's designed for parents with kids and families in business. Those who are looking to sustain and grow their business while protecting their legacies. This show is where we share best practices based from experience and real-life success. It guarantees to give you value and lesson. And this is brought to you by Coach Aiet. Kamusta kayo ngayong pandemic? Alam ko marami na kayong nakita na post about savings, investments, fund allocations, etc. And I'm sure numerous times nabasa nyo na rin to. Don't you want to be certain during these uncertain times? Okay, alam naman ng everybody that we are experiencing a global pandemic. And undeniably, it made an impactful blow not just to our income, but in the Philippines and to our neighboring countries. This event caused so much physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial stresses that led to difficulties. Suddenly, our routines changed in a blink of an eye. During this time, whether we live our lives luxuriously or yung regular lang, ordinary, our typical way of living is cancelled. Diba? There are people whom I spoke to felt na their wings are clipped so they cannot travel as of this time. Parang bigla silang na-confined to all four walls of their rooms. And each individual from different walks of life shared the same bearings. So, imagine kung yung mga senior citizen elders natin, ganito yung nafe-feel ordinarily, pre-pandemic. Ikaw, ngayon, bata, you're part of the workforce or achieving your dreams, you're at the prime of your life. We feel the same, ba? Parang we are forced to go on with our lives that are too different from how we used to live our lives before the pandemic. Back when we used to flaunt our branded expensive possessions. Say for example, bumili ka ng bag, isang luxurious bag that you can bring to the grocery or to the mall only to have it disinfected when you get home. Or yung bago ka lumabas, dati, maliligo ka muna. Pero ngayon, pagbalik mo, tsaka ka nalang maligo. Or that brand new car, sitting in the garage, elegant clothes, nakatago lang sa cabinets. Your sparkling, precious jewelry set rests asleep in your jewelry box because they are not bound to shine at this moment just yet. Well, hindi ko naman masyado nafe-feel yun kasi hindi naman talaga ako more on that. But I'm sure the listeners and the followers of this podcast, baka lang naman, diba? And nakakalungkot din yun. Somehow, I can feel na nakakasad din kasi ang luxury ko in life is really to travel. But all of a sudden, hanggang YouTube ka muna. Diba? Pinterest, IG, ganyan. Well, this pandemic taught me, at least me and my family, to value the things we used to take for granted. So before pandemic, muwi ka kung anong gusto mong oras. Ngayon, kasi may curfew in force, diba? There was a time na pati paglabas bawal. We learn to treasure every moment we spend with our family, our growing family, the children. We get to bond more. We started to settle and be satisfied with the simple things in life. Actually, simple lang naman ako. Okay na ako na merong routine, meron din akong konting hindi routine. These are the times where you make sure that you spend every moment of your life wisely. Yung parang pagdating sa bahay, even if you're working from home, you feel that parang mas marami akong ginagawa. Parang wala akong break. Parang kulang yung 24/7. Kasi sa dami ng nakikita mo na pwedeng gawin. In a way, kahit pagod, you feel happy. Diba? Kasi nasa comfort of your home. And matagal mo siyang hindi na-experience. More importantly, we learn to treasure time and money. Kasi medyo tipid tayo ngayon dahil walang masyadong labas, travel, yan. Magluluto ka talaga, sarili mong food, or pag hindi mo naman na masyadong type, i-suportahan mo yung mga friends mo na biglang naging marunong mag-bake, di ba? At least, you don't have to spend too much learning, but you're eating the food that you like. Ayan. This pandemic taught me and my family to appreciate the little things in life. It gave us a time to reflect, a chance to know what we should prioritize, and in a way, enabling us to bond more. Make plans for the now, but at the same time, plans for the future. In order for us to live a secured and a happy lifestyle. So, binalikan namin yung mga investments na existing and nagkaroon ng time to really reflect. Eto na ba yun? Kulang pa ba? Sapat na? Baka pwede pang dagdagan. To secure the happy lifestyle nga eh. So, when we plan not just for the now, but for the future. And the single most important, yet most expensive thing to have right now is peace of mind. And alam natin yan. Mahal yan. Okay? Hindi lang peace of mind sa pwedeng nakaaway mo or dahil nagigilty ka, but also, more importantly, peace of mind. What if biglang tinawag ka na lang bigla ni Lord? Hindi ka prepared. Na ganyan. It is also apparent that no lines separate the rich from the poor. Babasa natin yan sa news. In reality, more people from different socioeconomic statuses are becoming anxious. And that's the reason probably also nagiging hype ang mental health, diba? Mga organizations and communities all of a sudden would like to get together because they are anxious. And as much as possible, do not want to suffer from financial hurdles. Nakakatuwa din naman na tayong mga Pinoy, diba? Pagka sabi, pandemic, global pandemic, biglang naging active sa social media. Biglang, as I mentioned kanina, natutong mag-bake, magbenta. Magaling! Kasi bigla tayong nag-adapt. And yun naman talaga. Because there's no constant in this world but change. And ika nga ni Charles Darwin, yung survival, it is for those who are able to adapt easily and agad-agad. So all the more that we need to focus on saving, diba? What do you think? If a household status, for example, is on single income, it is very important to know that you should have an inventory of assets and liabilities and emergency funds. If you can recall the previous episode on wealth management with Shiela Ong, it helps if the family knows where their finances sit. Meaning, you should gather around, have your assets and your liabilities listed down so that you can project your expenses and allocate your funds wisely. Diba yung kwento niya about the struggle in their family and that she needed to be part early on. Naging mulat siya in participating in their family business in order for the family to thrive and somehow survive the financial hurdle upon announcing or declaring bankruptcy. If we don't have visibility on how our financial statements, our balance sheets, or our cash flows, malaking stressful situation yan. Diba? For those who are not really familiar or interested in discussing these types of documents, okay lang. Kasi there could be somebody that you know or that you're listening to right now na pwedeng makahelp in terms of managing your finances. And you can outsource if it's not your forte. Ang motto ko, outsource it. Para I can be more focused on those things that I am strong on and mas marami and productive yung mga magagawa ko. And you tell me, when do you think is the best time to save? Sabi nila, yesterday is the past. Tomorrow is too late. So today, now. My tip is to make sure that your savings account helps you yield the highest interest rate possible. So, hindi naman sinasabing ang savings account is equal to a bank statement. Pwede naman ang savings account, depende sa risk appetite, nasa ibang channel. Diba? Pero more often than not, savings is kept in the bank. Or you can discuss it with your family if you can put your cash in a time deposit or in a UITF, or what we call Unified Investment Trust Fund. So you can withdraw it when you need it. Just like what I did. Siguro some 8 years ago, I played in the stock market. And mind you, ang stressful niya. At least for me, kasi I get to monitor it. Sobrang taxing for me. And hindi naman kalakihan yung nilagay ko doon. Pero for the sake of learning things, I find it fun at first. And then when I started to really monitor, because I pulled out my savings from the bank and put it in the stock market, sobrang nakaka-stress siya. Especially if natatalo. Diba? So, binago ko yung framework ko. Nagkaroon ako ng paradigm shift. Sabi ko, if matatakot na lang ako, hanggang kailan? At saka para saan? So my other tip is this. Do not be afraid to take risks. Another tip, make your risks calculated naman para you can manage it. So a little bit of my sharing. Back in 2004, when my husband and I were still starting a family, all we had was savings. Siyempre, doon naman nagsistart ang lahat. Yung savings minsan nauubos pa. Okay? So, until we learned the hard way na umabot na parang 200 pesos na lang yung nasa bank, naisip namin na savings should be an untouchable envelope. Bawal i-withdraw. And having an emergency fund should cover you until you are able to bounce back. So, depende na to. Others would have 3 to 6 months, 6 months to a year. I say the length of time is variable per individual. Or for this instance, if you are running a business, to sustain your business, you should have already projected or at least to have a baseline. How long should your emergency fund last? You assess yourself, your family expenses, your combined expenses, and your business through projection. Pag pinag-aaralan, mas calculated ang risks, you can manage it. So, emergency fund is often missed out, but I tell you, it's equally important. And it's a very good thing to have. So, kung wala kang emergency fund, mag-open an account sa bangko, maglagay dyan. So, this is the first part that we made sure to have to establish a foundation. So, dami ko rin natutunan. Medyo similar din naman yung kwento namin ni Shiela, previous episode, na these are basic, these are fundamentals that we shouldn't miss. So, we started learning how to invest after 8 years in the marriage. So, 2004 plus 8 years. We started participating in stocks together back in 2012 and win after 2 years. Ako, learner talaga. And that's one of my strengths based sa diagnosis namin ni Coach Ron Magsaling. So I started looking into something that will give me coverage as someone who is saving, as someone who is earning money. So what matters to me as a mom and as a business owner at the present is that I should see all potential channels so that I can diversify and optimize our money based on our risk appetite. Factoring in, syempre, hindi naman laging bata, diba? At hindi ka rin naman magpaplano ng retirement plan when you are on your 50s. Nakakatakot na yun, guys. Kasi konting-konti na lang, pa-retire ka na. Unless, of course, you are a tycoon or you can, when you reach 50 and you decided to plan, you must be earning a lot. I'm talking about myself, and I felt that planning a retirement starts 10 years ago. So, when I was 30, I learned about how to save for my golden years. And I also learned something on estate planning and how we can better appreciate what we do sa work. Kasi kapag may goal ka, and then yung goal na yun, fina-fund currently ng work mo, di ba mas nakaka-appreciate yun? Mas na-appreciate mo. Mas na-motivate ka. Medyo cliche yung saving it for the rainy day kasi hindi naman natin alam kung kailan tayo magiging sick. Diba? Ayan. So, coupling it with investing, savings can make your money work while you work. So, financial security keeps us worry-free, and at the same time, ito na rin yung parang show of love and affection mo. Kasi you are ensuring assurance. Ayan na, malinaw yun. You are ensuring assurance that if the inevitable happens, there is certainty in sustaining a secured and a happy lifestyle. In short, life goes on. Okay, sige, pag-usapan naman natin yung ginagawa at work. So for those followers that we have here in this podcast who are busy moms, they're single parents who are running their own office or their businesses, this is how I ran the finances naman in the office. I suggest that if you have a business that is already operating or probably still a startup, draft a business plan. But that's not it. You have to factor in contingency. As mentioned on episode 5, and I suggest that you listen to it, separate your personal and business accounts. Why? Because in that way, you will be able to track effectively if you are doing well or if you need improvement. And most importantly, paano ka mag-expand sa business mo? Okay, so for example also, if you are going to explore, or especially now, we don't know what's gonna happen next, diba? What we did last year when the pandemic began, we secured our business in what we call insurance, group insurance. As part of our business contingency plan, we think na mas magiging effective sila if hindi nila pinoproblema ang kalusugan, and if a staff member gets sick, it's not going to be out of our pocket as their employers. It also works as part of your appraisal or performance management program for your employees, especially for those who have been with the company for a long time. So in a nutshell, savings should come first before investment. Dapat i-secure mo muna yon. Both are equally important for an individual or even if you are running a company. All things said, our situation nowadays gives us time to reflect and look at things that matter. For us, as employers, what matters to us is the welfare of our employees. as parents, our children, diba? As an individual, one's self. I hope that you started saving, okay? If not, today's the best day to do it. It's not how big or small your income is. It is a matter of perspective, priority, and commitment. This podcast episode hopes to share insights with you on how you can develop a healthy habit of saving, no matter how small, as long as you start. The same goes for investing. Risks are everywhere. What matters is that you carefully assess and calculate that there will be benefits when you take them. Start small, start right away. Time is your ally in investing. So start now. Study good investment strategies. Who knows? Your small investment would take you to places of abundance. What matters is that you are not afraid to try. Be open to new financial learnings. So when you are asked for a financial planning session, you do not shy away from it. I highly recommend that you book one today. So if you are listening to this podcast, you're in for a treat. I make time for friends, and every week the consultation is free. I share insights on how to better your financial statements and how you can make your money grow. Check my page in Facebook and in IG. I am Coach Aiet, or in LinkedIn as Aiet Dela Torre, or message me on Instagram. Let's connect and be accountability partners. Until next time, BizBuds, don't forget to visit my website, coachaiet.com, and follow me in Facebook, Coach Aiet. Visit our company website, xdtncompany.com. Keep soaring to new and higher heights of productivity and profitability. Remember to live a secured and have a happy lifestyle.